As the mission to better treat and one day cure Alzheimer's disease goes on, the focus of scientists and clinicians alike is increasingly on turning good, basic research into effective treatments and diagnostic tests. The Lady Davis Institute is the research arm of the Jewish General Hospital in Montreal, Canada. Here, the Alzheimer's disease program covers everything from basic research and clinical trials to the delivery of health systems.
There are three things that make this a rather unique center. First of all, we have research going on at all these different levels within the same place and even on the same floor. So basic scientists can talk to clinical researchers. The second element, which is quite unique, is the close proximity and interaction with clinical work. So across the way is the memory clinic of the Jewish General Hospital and McGill University. This allows us to work in the clinic, so research and clinical care can work together for the benefit of our patients. The third element, which is rather unique here, is very close involvement with the community and with the government.
One of the great successes of the Lady Davis Institute has been the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Interviews, or the MOCA.
The test is a multiple domain memory test. We test short-term memory, we test also language skills, calculation skills, visual spatial skills, and we also test orientation to time and space. The test came in a time where there was no other test available to distinguish between mild impairment and abnormal impairment or benign forgetfulness. So it has become a crucial test and has been extremely used in many different memory clinics, and now it's been used extensively around the world.
Nora Kellner is a neuropsychologist at the Jewish General, who sees firsthand the benefits of the MOCA.
The MOCA allows the physician to detect early the changes in mental status, and from there may be able to make a diagnosis depending on how advanced these changes are, and immediately implement treatment with the appropriate medication. It may be, if there are doubts in terms of the diagnosis, they can then make a referral of this particular person to a specialized center for further study.
The MOCA has been a major step forward, but it's clear that diagnosis is needed even earlier. For the last 15 years, Dr. Hyman Schipper has been researching oxidative stress, and he believes an enzyme called heme oxygenase 1, or HO1, may be part of the cause for the neurological damage that results in Alzheimer's disease.
We believe that our work on HO1 is important for a variety of reasons. First, it is suggesting to us novel mechanisms by which neurons may be injured in the brains of patients with Alzheimer's and perhaps other aging-related neurodegenerative disorders. This could lead to the development of new pharmaceutical agents for the treatment of patients with Alzheimer's disease, because at this time most of the agents we already have are just for symptomatic control, but there's nothing has been shown yet proven to slow the degenerative process, and we're hoping that blocking HO1 may be able to slow the disease.
Schipper and his team also found that HO1 is diminished in the blood of patients with Alzheimer's disease.
Right now, the investigation of patients with Alzheimer's disease is very labor-intensive. It requires a lot of neuropsychological testing. It requires the cooperation of the patient. Having a blood test that would allow us to differentiate Alzheimer's from the normal aging process would constitute pretty much a breakthrough.
Early diagnosis and effective treatment are of equal importance. Looking to the future, the work of Andrea LeBlanc has the potential to bring both of those before symptoms even present. An enzyme called caspase-6 was discovered in Alzheimer's patients of all stages, but that's not the main thing that caught the eye of the researchers.
Interestingly, what we found is that some non-cognitively impaired aged individuals that were controls for the Alzheimer group also had a pretty high level of active caspase-6 in the entorhinal cortex, which is the first area to be affected in Alzheimer. And when we looked at the cognitive score of these individuals, it was a bit lower than their counterparts, even though it was still normal. So that told us that this enzyme may be involved either as an early event of Alzheimer's disease and maybe even leading to the Alzheimer's disease pathology and clinical symptoms. If we can inhibit the enzyme activity in people who do not have cognitive impairment yet, maybe we can prevent Alzheimer's disease from occurring.
And LeBlanc is now looking at methods of detecting the enzyme using brain imaging, creating the tantalising prospect of being able to pre-diagnose and treat patients well before the appearance of symptoms. There is much work to do, but by working closely with clinicians, the process can be quickened.
I think the close collaboration between those of us who are clinicians and the basic researchers helps bring the stuff from the lab into the clinic much faster. And I think it's exciting to hear about the stuff that's being developed in the basic labs, just in terms of understanding what's going on in people's brains when we do see them in the clinic.
It's a long journey, and time will tell if we are on the right road.
Here we have, I think, a number of unique approaches focusing on molecules and molecular changes not pursued in other laboratories. So are those going to lead to the answer to Alzheimer's disease, its treatment and its cure? We don't know. But what we know is that by getting the best possible scientists working with clinicians, we're in the best possible position to advance these ideas and hopefully find a cure.